have been corrected. But I want to say how seriously we take this issue. I can tell you that in three conversations with Secretary LaHood, they take it seriously. So I would hope that as we proceed on these monthly reports, we're going to have the answers to questions that our colleagues have on the issue. Because I think I speak for everyone when I say this is a very high priority for us. So with that, please present your...
Thank you. Good morning. Just quickly by way of background, you've all heard this a few times before. The MTA conducted a civil rights compliance review of Metro last year, and they found deficiencies in 5 of the 12 areas they looked at. They requested that we provide a corrective action plan within 5 days, and we did that. It was submitted on December 5th. We've since updated that at the beginning of, at the end of February, 1st of March, we submitted a corrective one. We've also done some adjustments in our schedule for when we can get things done. Many of the delays have been caused because the FTA has not given us approval of documents that we've submitted that we need to bring to you. So at this point, we've fully rectified 2 of the areas of deficiencies. First one was a notice to beneficiaries, and now we have over 2,000 notices posted on LRT stations, subway stations, and all of our vehicles advising our users how they can file civil rights complaints, and that information is in 10 different languages. The other deficiency that you folks have resolved for us, you approved service standards that address all the areas that are mentioned in the MTA guidance, and you did that at your December board meeting and again in January. For the 3 remaining deficiencies, the one that will take the longest is limited English proficiency. The MTA found that our 4-factor analysis, which looks at what languages we need to provide service in, was not adequate. So we've completed factor 1. It's been submitted to the FTA, and at this point they have not provided any comments on us. We're waiting to get going on factors 2 and 3. We've retained a consultant actually at this point, and we're ready to go. That will be quite a time-consuming process because it involves going out and meeting with all the different language groups around the county and doing focus groups, doing inventories or interviews with our frontline staff in terms of the languages they encounter. But we're on schedule to complete that by December 2012. Second deficiency relates to fare and service equity, and we're working on resolving those deficiencies on several fronts. Part of the issue there for us is that we really couldn't get going until a number of steps took place. One of those being that we have public outreach on defining a major service change. So we were notified that being in December, it was hard to hold public outreach. We did hold some January. We came back to the board in February, got that approved, and now we're starting to do the analysis. The other issue for us was that we have 2 new guideway projects coming up to open this year, and it was our priority to do the analysis properly for Title VI for those so that we could open them on time and not be delayed because of not having the analysis done. So we did those first. Now we're doing the ones for the past service changes. And of course, all the analysis first has to go to the FTA for them to vet before we bring it to you as the board. This month, you actually on consent, you've already approved the Orange Line BRT Title VI analysis that was done, and also the service changes for June. And both of those are items that were not in the corrective action plan. Like I said, we need to do those and do those properly. The scope of work has been submitted to the FTA for approval of the equity analysis for the regional connector, the West Side Subway, and the Crenshaw LAX Transit Corridor. And as soon as the FTA approves that, the consultant will be hired and set to work on those items. And the same scope is going to be used for Foothill and Expo 2. We've come across an issue, though, because those separate authorities have ownership of the data that we need to do the work. It's going to take a little bit longer to do that, and that's why we pushed that back to January 2013 from 2012. The equity analysis of the 2010-2011 service changes, we're trying to bring that to the board in May. We finished the technical analysis. We've got the spreadsheets and the numbers, and we submitted that to the FDA to have them look over it. And we are now working on doing the narratives to go with the report. And at this point, the results look good. The equity analysis of the 2010-2011 fare changes hasn't started yet. Just collecting data, and that will be finished to get started in full force when the work on the service equity analysis are complete. Deficiency number 3 is service monitoring. The FTA found deficiencies with the existing service monitoring programs. So they said that the surveys that we were doing, we found some disparate impacts. We didn't take corrective action. So we are going to implement that corrective action in May of this year. We're going to be starting a marketing campaign to address the issues, which meets with the FTA requirements. And then going forward, we're switching to a monitoring program that is more quantitative. And we're going to be looking at each route in the system, comparing the service performance on the route with its status as a minority route or not a minority route, and that will begin in the next fiscal year. So the FTA is also committed to send someone here to help us with training, both for our own staff and all the staffs of other municipal and regional transit operators in Southern California. And we don't have a date for that yet, but they have committed to do that. Just to review, the schedule for the remaining deficiencies: service and fare equity deficiencies will be rectified by June 30th, limited English deficiency by December 31st, and then the major guideway projects all will be completed by January 2013. This graph kind of gives a visual look quickly in terms of the green being areas that have been completed, the yellow is the work that's going on now, and the red is still the work yet to begin. Mostly waiting for FTA approval to get started on it. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Before we have questions, I'd like to hear from a few, from public comment for a moment. Barbara Holland with the, and then Sun Young Yang, Esperanza Martinez.
A midday to everyone. Barbara Holland with the Bus Riders Union. In February of this year, the Bus Riders Union met with Peter Rogoff, the head of the Federal Transportation Agency, in addition to the Department of Justice and its Civil Rights Division, with regard to this very board's violation of Title VI Regulation 49 CFR 21. Based on MTA's own records, this agency knew that for the past 5 years, the service cuts that they made were discriminatory, and yet they went ahead disregarding the regulations and the circulars provided in order to eliminate the situation. We have had several discussions with organizations and civil rights experts, and they are stunned and appalled at the history that this agency has. If it continues this way, you will become the poster child for the discriminatory transit system. Thank you.
Sun Young Yang.